Now, we did mention that the entire Enugu State caucus in the House of Representatives has formally defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress. And we have joining us to discuss this right now, lawyer and public affairs analyst Todiimu Ige. We want to get his perspective on this. Thank you so much for joining us, Todiimu Ige. Now, this latest defection is yet another in a long list of defections that we have seen. And they're joining the APC when they leave the PDP and the Labour Party. So are you convinced that a one-party state is indeed in the making?
Well, the truth of it is that it appears that from all indications that a lot of people are trying to connect to the party in power at the central. However, our constitution does not allow for a one-party state. But, in practice, it appears to be that the opposition is gradually being weakened. The opposition is not biting. The opposition is not opposing at all, because as it stands, many people are now drifting towards the central, and it is something that should be discouraged, because we need the parties to be multifacial so that we can have some form of opposition and checks and balances.
How do you think that this defection will impact political dynamics and development priorities, especially in Enugu State ahead of the 2027 election?
Well, the truth of it is that in practice, if the party at the central, that is the party at the federal level is in power and the state aligns with the federal, most of the time it's perceived that the state does well because resources are channeled, attention is channeled to such a state. And that is why you will see most of the states tilting towards the federal so that they can have access to the power at the central. And that's why people have been agitating that we really push towards the federal system of governance, that we decentralize power. When we decentralize power, it stems this kind of abuse. It stems this kind of a strategy of people abandoning their parties to join band with the federal. So, I would say that we need to, look at our system and ensure that power, democracy is actually observed and people actually get the best end of the deal as opposed to political alignment.
So let's even face it for a moment. Now, some critics argue that defections weaken opposition parties. So how do you respond to concerns about political stability and whether or not democracy can still function with one dominant party?
Yes, defection weakens opposition. And, because if there is no opposition, we run a system wherein it is a system of checks and balance. When there is opposition, it's the other party is put on its toes to know that if we don't perform, somebody else will take over from us. And it serves as a form of leverage to other political parties. If the party in power is not performing, they can always pitch to the people that we are a better alternative. But in this instance, all the opposition are gradually drifting towards the other party, making it a one-party system. That means that people might be stuck with, there will be no options, there will be no variety, and our reliance will now be on the one party. So it's not going to be same old, because if one politician from a party is not performing, you still have to rely on another politician from that party. And don't forget that mostly the individual is not as powerful as the party, because the individual is operating on the manifesto of the party. And that means that you might not really see a movement or an alignment away from the same old practice, except, the individual is hardworking, but he cannot really depart from the manifesto of the party. So you see, it means a lot that we must ensure that all the parts, that there's a multi-party system in place.
So, with the APC now controlling the entire Enugu caucus, what message does this send about the federal-state relations and the future of opposition politics in that region?
Well, as it stands now, since all the members of that party have moved to APC, it now means that the APC is in possession of that state. Bad as it sounds, it is now the time for the opposition parties to prepare and, of course, go back to the drawing board and see how they can, the members that moved claim there was internal crisis in the party. They need to mend fences, ensure that every internal issues, internal matters, internal deliberation is solved, and put up a common front, because people can still, there's still time. They can realign and ensure that the people believe that the opposition that they are putting forward is strong enough. The opposition that they are putting forward can challenge the status quo and ensure that the people get the better end of the deal. Because we say that if two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. And this grass in this instance will be the citizens of Enugu State. If they feel that they need a better governance, then the opposition party must show effectively that they are ready to walk the talk, that they are ready to provide and cater to the needs of people of that region. And generally, of course, it's the same approach to all states that have tilted towards the central. Everybody must work towards ensuring that we, the Democrats, the electorate, we enjoy the benefits of democracy.
All right, Todiimu Ige, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts on this.
Thank you for having me.